All right, guys, we're back. Day 2 of the training week for the weight training version. I'm getting ready for Ruck 100, which is I'm doing 100 miles in efforts to raise funds for our military veterans. Today is a weight training day, so I'm doing lower body plyometrics, power and speed strength, and upper body strength work into some muscle building, just to make sure my body is prepared for the rigors of what I'm gonna have to do come December when I'm rucking 100 miles. Let's get after it. All right, so now we're gonna move on to speed. So I'm gonna go linear speed only. This one right here, since I have the sled, I'm gonna be working on acceleration off of just a standstill and then trying to maintain my speed going forward. We're trying to, it's not maximal speed, but it's loaded sprinting through a linear fashion. Again, you're working on the acceleration and then maintaining that drive. So I'm gonna go about 50 feet and then turn around and do it again. We got 5 total sets. With the particular weight on this, you don't need to have a large amount of weight. We want it to be fast, explosive. You want some tension, so it's gonna help with rate of force from a standing position or from like a staggered standing position. So you have static overcome by dynamic in the first couple of steps, and then we're gonna maintain our speed going forward for the rest of the 50 feet. All right, so finished up with the speed work. Now we're gonna move on to plyometric drills. With the power plyometric, this one, since we went linear with the speed, we're gonna go lateral and multi-directional with the power movement. So I'm gonna be doing a tall kneeling pop-up to a lateral push-off. So I'm going lateral, right? When I go to display force into the ground, and then have that displacement through that lateral motion, right? So the frontal plane. Then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and do multi-directional. So I'm gonna go, same thing, tall kneeling, pop up to my feet, using my hips, hip flexors, and then redirecting force. So I'm sticking on 2 feet, pushing off one leg, landing on 2, and then I'm gonna jump on a broad. So it's gonna be a tall kneeling pop up, lateral push to a broad jump, all right, multi-directional. All right, so when you're doing a tall kneeling pop-up, I'm gonna pop up both feet. When I push, think about if you are a combat sport athlete, especially a striker, or if you're a grappler and you're working on takedowns, I'm pushing off somewhat of the inside edge of my foot. So I'm pushing in that bladed stance and I'm getting out as far as I can with good control. Power means nothing without control, so we gotta control our body in space. Good thing about the tall kneeling pop-up, it's multi-directional, one, and you have to get your feet underneath you fast. Right? It's gonna be good for sprinting. It's gonna be good for any type of combat sport activity. When you do these, you wanna make sure that you're in the best position possible to produce force. So if your knees are caving in or valgusing, or your feet are collapsing, just be mindful of that, because again, you want to be in the best position possible to produce force. And if you're not in there, you got to start to take it back. Don't do these activities and work on your body positioning and work on your stability. So we're gonna go eight sets of 2 with 50%. Got 25% band tension. Sumo deadlifts, all right? Biggest thing with a sumo is that it's taking a lot of the stress off the low back. You're primarily working the hips, right? So maintaining an upright posture. I'm gonna drive and produce lateral force through the ground, maintaining this upright posture while my lats stay tight. Typically what you want to do is set your feet up in the right position to where you can still produce force laterally, but your knees don't kick forward. So you want somewhat of a vertical shin angle, meaning I don't want the knees to go over the bar. I want the knees to kind of push back. So I'm sitting back into my hips and I'm gonna push out. So I'm gonna spread the floor apart and drive out. All right, I got about 315 on the bar. Bands are giving it about 50 pounds at the top, give or take. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna control it when I break it off the ground. I'm not gonna rip it off the ground because that'll get me out of position. So I'm gonna control it till it gets to about right below my knees, and then I'm gonna explode and drive my hips forward like I was doing a kettlebell swing. It's some gay music, bro. This is what's happening. That's what it is. Can you change the music? So we went from speed strength, now we're gonna go on to strength. So increase in weight, increase in intensity from a percentage perspective. I'm gonna take this bar, I'm gonna go ahead and use a straight bar because this is a whip bar. So with the whip bar, it gives, right? So you don't wanna do any type of pulling motions or pressing motions with the whip bar. The whip bar really is only for deadlifting. So I'm gonna take this bar out because I wanna do pen lay rows now. I want a stiffer bar so I can row effectively without any give in the bar. All right, so if you guys seen the videos of some of the guys training with me, right, some of those are consultations. So I offer those to anyone that wants to come out to Florida and train with me personally. So you get a 2-hour consult, we'll go through an assessment, we'll go through your training, and then we'll get after it, and I'll give you a program after. So if you're interested in doing something in person with me, hit the link down below. I also offer it online, but obviously you get the full experience when you come out to Florida. So check it out. We did upper body pulling, now I'm gonna go upper body pressing. I'm gonna go unilateral on this with the dumbbell press. I also wanna work a little bit of anti-rotation, so that's why I'm gonna go alternating. I'm gonna go fairly heavy, we're gonna do 6 each side, but still manageable enough to where I'm not throwing myself out of position or off balance. As I go up in weight, the more irradiation and the more tightness and stability I need to gain in order for me to maintain my position. So 70s were a warm up, and then we're gonna go up to 80s, 90s, possibly 100s. When I do that though, if you take a look at my legs, I'm pulling my hips in, or I'm pulling my heels in to my hips. I'm creating tightness, so I'm grabbing the bench with my inner thighs, and I'm squeezing my glutes. So that's gonna make sure that I maintain a solid position. I also can give myself a little bit of leg drive, not pushing down, but I'm actually pushing away so my butt doesn't come off the bench. All right, guys, let's go over the workout. So, like I said, lower body power, upper body strength, starting from speed and then working our way down lower in velocity. So whenever you're doing a training session, if you're not working contrast sets, you want to start from your fastest or your highest dynamic exercise or modality into your slowest dynamic modality, which is going to be somewhere around hypertrophy or max strength. All right, so starting off with speed, right? We're gonna do sled sprints. We did 5 sets of 20 yards. Again, this is linear, right? So we're going linear in a straight line fashion. You're gonna go from a static position to a dynamic. So I'm working on rate of force in the beginning, acceleration, and then I'm gonna try to carry that speed all the way through the entire distance of the run. Moving on to power, we're gonna be working plyometrics. So plyometrics, fast amortization phase. What does that mean? Quick ground reaction time. I hit the ground, I redirect force fast, or I hit the ground and I get off the ground fast. So plyometric activity is gonna allow us to be more powerful. So we can increase our power production, increase our stretch shortening cycle, just make us more equipped when it comes down to an athletic movement. So we're gonna start off with tall kneeling pop-up 45-degree jump back. I know that's a mouthful, but listen, all it is that you're jumping from your knees to your feet and you're pushing at a 45-degree angle. For my combat sport athletes, similar to you doing a takedown, right? Going into maybe a blast double and then flaring. Or if you're a striker, right? It's in and out of the pocket, right? You're moving side to side in a bladed position. We're gonna go ahead and do 2 sets of 5 each side. Again, that's that lateral or oblique line. Then from there, we're gonna go multi-directional, right? So same tall kneeling position. You gotta pop up, get hip extension and drive your feet underneath you, land appropriately. Then from there, we're gonna laterally push. So we're gonna do like a skater push or a skater bound, then into a broad jump, right? So that broad jump, you're gonna go lateral to linear, right? So redirectional force or multi-directional, right? This is really good for combat sports, for football, right? Really any field-based sport when you're changing directions and you have to be explosive in multiple directions. We're gonna do 2 sets of 2 each side. Then we'll move on to speed strength. Now speed strength is your ability to move weight fast. So what we wanna do is we wanna work on something that is a compound lift that has foundational components. So we're gonna do a deadlift. Now with this deadlift in a sumo style, I'm taking a little bit off of my back, right? I've been rucking nonstop, getting ready for Ruck 100. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to really work my hips and that lateral force displacement and stay off of my low back as much. So with the sumo deadlift, it allows me to do that. 8 sets of 2 at 50% with 25% band tension. Going into the strength, the upper body strength, we're gonna go Penlay rows. So Penlay rows, you're looking at somewhere around 75, 80%. We're gonna do 5 by 5. This is gonna be higher volume, but you're still working strength. So this is a good way to build hypertrophy or muscle and build strength. Then we're gonna move on to a pressing motion. So dumbbell single arm alternating press, 4 by 6. Again, like I talked about, maintaining my position, using everything to stabilize my body. All right, so moving on to build, which is hypertrophy. Dumbbell crucifix, so basically lateral raise into the front, then bringing it back down. All right, you're gonna do 3 sets of 10 there, and then hammer curls to finish it off for the biceps, because I guess they say biceps are for the girls, right? Curls for the girls. I'm married happily, 12, 13 years. She loves me for who I am, you know? She likes my personality. What's up guys, Daru here. Make sure you like this video and subscribe for more. See you on the next one.